Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gerard, Witch of Earth's Curious Goods. Today, I've decided that I'm going to show you how to do a banishing jar. So in my previous video, I showed you how to do a banishing powder. But I figured, okay, so you have this powder, maybe you want to do a jar, and I'll show you how to combine the two elements together to give it that oomph to the spell. Now, before we begin, I do want to caution you, and I do want you to act responsibly with this spell. I'm not a big fan of showing a lot of baneful work, but my thing is, if you are going to attempt it, I feel like you should have some sort of source out there, and hopefully I can be one of those sources and help guide you the best that I can based on my experience, and then of course with my spell. So if this sounds interesting to you, keep on watching, and without further ado, let's begin. Okay, like I said, this spell is not something that you do for fun. Anytime, and this is what I would recommend, anytime you feel like it is necessary for you to do a banishing jar, because I don't know your situation, I don't know what's going on that is warranting this type of spell. Very rare, like as far as even I'm concerned, I've done maybe a banishing jar with like over a decade, maybe twice or three times in my life. So I, would not really use this spell unless it's absolutely necessary. Now, there are stronger spells. I'm just showing you the banishing jar, one that works. It's pretty simple, but it is very effective, okay? So before you even attempt this spell, I would recommend, even with me, take a few days, right? Say it's a situation, and sometimes emotions will make you feel like you do need a banishing jar until you take a few days, a minimum of 3 days. That's what I like to do. So what I'd like to do is I take a few days to think about is it really necessary to banish this person? Is the spell warranting that? Okay. Also, you would need to analyze the situation. For me, I tend to do divination. I consult my tarot cards, and I do it over the course of days. So I don't take these types of spells, especially for baneful spells, very lightly, or for fun and just winging it and just sending it out into the universe. Now, the first thing you want to do is get your hands on a jar. I just used a old pasta jar, and I didn't really clean it out really good. I filled it up with water, and what I would do is, if I was doing this spell, which I'm not doing this spell, but I just want to show you how to do it. I would place this on my altar for a while, and then I would just let the water, so like the water is kind of murky and gross, and make sure it's well sealed. You're going to need a heat-proof safe dish. You're going to need a black candle. If you can't get your hands on a black candle, a white candle will do. You're going to need vinegar. You're going to need some chili powder, and we'll get into that. And if you've seen my previous video, and I'll link it above, about how to make banishing powder, if you have banishing powder, then you don't really need the chili powder, you just need the banishing powder. But for those of you that, just maybe can't make the banishing powder, or haven't seen the video yet, you stumbled across this video, then you'll need some chili powder in place of that. So that's the substitution, or use both. You're going to need a piece of paper, permanent marker, and some black thread or string. So now you're just going to take your piece of paper, and all you're going to do is write down the person that you're banishing. So I'm not doing this on anyone, so I'm just going to write John Doe. Okay. So John Doe. If you also have a picture of them, that would work a lot better. So I would replace the paper with the picture instead, and on the back of the picture, I would write their name. The more information that you have about them, the better that the spell will be able to hit its target, okay? So it's called a tag lock. You're connecting it to that person. So John Doe. Now you're just going to take that piece of paper or picture, and you're going to fold it away from you, okay? Because you want them to go away from you. Turn it counterclockwise. Fold it away from you, counterclockwise, fold it away from you. Now, I tend to do sequences of 3. 3 is a very magical number, and it holds great meaning for me. You can fold it as many times as you want, and whatever number resonates with you. Just make sure to be able to fold it so that it'll fit in the jar that you're using, okay? Because that's, of course, going to be our banishing jar. So now that you've got your piece of paper, you're just going to take your string now. You're going to begin tying it around the picture and the paper, or the picture only, or the paper only. But you're going to tie it up, right? Imagine that person. See them going away from you. Put as much emotion as you can into this tying part, okay? That's the key to this emotion, right? And you wanted to get it out of you. You know, you shouldn't have to feel that way, right? We're going to give it back to them. You're going to bind it into this spell. So I'll summon all that emotion. Maybe it's somebody that is bullying you. Maybe it's someone that is being super cruel to you, someone that is torturing you. You take all that emotion, you put that into this as you're tying it, okay? Okay, so now that you've got your picture or your paper tied up, you're just going to set that to the side really quick. Take your jar. Now we're going to open it carefully, because of course if you're like me where you just let this water be stale and murky and gross, you don't want that spilling on you. It probably doesn't smell the best either. The longer that you let the water just get murky and gross, the better, alright? Now we're going to take some vinegar, right? We're going to pour some vinegar into the banishing jar, okay? All right, we're going to, because it's to sour up their life, right? Vinegar is known to be sour and smelly, and we're souring them up, okay? Because we don't want them to be comfortable in the life that they're in, because we want them to go away from us. We want them to just be gone, okay? Now comes your banishing powder. What is banishing powder for? It's to banish things, to make them go away. So if you have banishing powder, you're going to put, I like to do 3 pinches. 1, 2, 3. All right? If you don't have the banishing powder, you just didn't see that video, then you would just use your chili powder, right? Chili powder is very hot, fire element, makes things go, makes their life filled with fire and hotness to make them go away. It's like that hot foot, like, ooh, gosh, gotta get out of here. So 1, 2, 3. Then maybe the situation warrants chili powder and the banishing powder put together, okay? But it's not really necessary to use both. For me, anytime I'm doing the banishing jar, I just use my banishing powder. But like I said, if you don't have banishing powder, you'll use just chili powder, okay? Now you're just going to take the picture or the paper or both, and you're just going to place them into the jar, right? Now, with both hands, you're going to place it on here, okay? And over the jar, you're going to say this spell 3 times. I banish you, John Doe, in every way, for in this jar is where you'll stay. Bind and move, now go away. Now that you've got that, you're going to want to close it up really tight, right? Tight so that it's airtight and it's no spillage, okay? You're going to shake it up. As you're shaking it up, you're seeing them, life getting turmoil. When I like to shake it, I also like to go counterclockwise, so it's like a little tornado in there. Little whirlpool going round and around, and you see them just twisting around in there, okay? You're going to take your black candle, right? And I totally forgot, you're going to need something sharp to inscribe on the candle. Totally forgot to tell you that, but you will need that. For me, I'm just using some scissors. And you're just going to inscribe the person's name in there. First and last name. So me, I'm just writing John Doe. Because I'm not doing it on anyone. Okay? You're just going to place it on the top of your banishing jar. Okay? And with matches or a lighter, you're just going to light it. Okay? Once you light the candle, you'll just say, as I will it, so mote it be. And that just puts a stamp of approval for you, okay? That final step to just say, this is my will and this is what I want done, okay? You're just going to let this candle burn completely down. You can burn it over time. That's what I personally like to do. Each time I relight this candle, I do think of that person that I'm banishing, okay? Once that candle is nice and burnt down, then the spell is fully completed, okay? And you're just going to keep this handy until that person goes away. I would hide it, keep it away from others, children, pets, somewhere that only you know where it is, but no one else does, and you don't want to show it to anyone, of course. And then every so often, and we'll just pretend I'm going to put this out. Once that melts all the way down, you'll see wax just come down. That's where this heat-proof safe dish comes in handy, because you want all of that wax to collect and also keep it safe, of course, fire safety. Then from time to time, I just shake it up, right? Shake it up and I think of that person going away, okay, until they go away. Now, once the spell is complete, that person has left, or you see your spell working like a charm, which it will, then you're going to want to go ahead and release the spell. You're going to want to discard all of this water and the string and the paper, the picture. Of course, you want to go ahead and put it into, for me, I have a pot in my garden filled with dirt, and I kind of just put all the remnants in there. Some people like to bury it. Just kind of be mindful of the earth and the wildlife, of course. Some things like this glass jar, if you're going to bury it, can't be avoided, right? But everything is all in balance. I see a lot of witches that say like, oh my gosh, you just cannot do that. This has been done. This isn't the first time that this spell has ever been done, okay? There are versions of this spell that dates back hundreds and hundreds of years by many walks of life, many cultures, okay? But if you are going to do that, I would recommend to give it balance, right? So if I know that I'm putting something out in the earth or wildlife that may not be compostable, then I make up for it, right? I plant some seeds. I feed the wildlife. You know, you want to give back for what you just did, okay? So just keep that in mind. Hopefully, if that sounds interesting to you guys, comment down below if you guys want to see a video about like how to balance your craft, you know, because it's super important that you do keep things in balance, in my opinion, you know, at least in my craft. Well, I hope you found today's video informative. I hope that you don't ever have to use this spell, but if it does come up where you will need a banishing jar, I hope this video does come in handy. Comment down below if you are planning on doing this spell or you're needing to do this spell. Keep in mind, I try to answer as many comments as possible as soon as I see them to help you out. So until then, stay earthy, stay magical, and of course, love yourself and others. Bye for now.